time for Dave 101.
Go as I am wound up tonight about this weekend where I have to see people that I don't like with people that I do like, all at my nephew's wedding. But you know what? That's neither here nor there, because we do have an important topic for tonight, and that is, do we really want any of these mysteries solved? Think about that for a second. What would happen if we found out Sasquatch was real, or Dogman, or gnomes, or little people, or wood nymphs, or thunderbirds, ghosts, spirits, UFOs, aliens? Do we really want any of these awesome mysteries solved? Because what would we do afterwards? And here's the thing. There's over 55,000 ghost hunters alone in the United States. 98% of them are just out there being weekend warriors. The other 2% are working at trying to find out some of life's biggest mysteries. How do ghosts communicate with us? Why do they communicate with us? Where are they? What's it like on the other side? Are they dead, or are they on different timelines and we're the ghosts to them? There's a lot of answers and questions that are out there. But do we really want the answers to whether or not we can solve the riddles of, is there life in the universe? Is there life after death? And are there creatures that we have not discovered living amongst our forests, our waterways, around North America and the world? And personally, I don't think so. Because what happens is, we always want something to happen until it actually happens. And then we're upset because it doesn't happen again. We see this all the time. There are many people in the government world right now who are stating that in 5 years, potentially, all of us who have podcasts, UFO shows on YouTube, radio shows like we do, are going to be out of a job because the aliens will have made it known and the government will have made it known. So then what's left to talk about? Oh, there's plenty to talk about. Because, as I stated before, there's no such thing as disclosure. There's no such thing as a true disclosure unless we find out from the American government what has happened since Roswell. That's a good starting point. We don't need to go back 100 years, 200 years, 300 years to the flying boats. We don't need to go there. We don't even need to go back to Egypt. What we do need to do is go back to the 20th century, find out what happened in Roswell, New Mexico in 1947. When it comes to ghost hunters, they don't know what they're even solving. The biggest way to screw up a ghost hunter is to ask them what they do with their evidence. You will never see a more confusing look on a human being than when you ask that question. So this is how the conversation usually goes. So where did you ghost hunt? Oh, we went to this sanitarium and it was great. And we got lots of EVPs. We got some great pictures of shadow beings. We're just going to go through the evidence now to see what else that we've captured. Wonderful. When do you do that? Oh, we're going to do that over the next month. Wonderful. What do you do with your evidence after that? Well, what do you mean? Well, you've collected all this evidence. What are you doing with it? Well, we keep it. What do you keep it for? What do you mean? And the circle goes on and on and on. Because what ghost hunting teams should be doing, if they were smart, is they'd have a collective database where they could actually try to see if they're capturing the same voices, the same people, the same energies, the same wavelengths, the same energy markers, to see if anything comes across as normal. But we don't see that. No, most ghost hunters, they just want to brag how they got an EVP that says, "Come here, Johnny," or "Get off my lawn," instead of actually putting their hard work together and moving forward. See, this is clickbait generation. It's not about solving the mysteries anymore. It's about social media followers. It's about subscribers. Hey, on our YouTube channel, we're caught up in that as well. We have no choice. If we want to be successful, we need to grow our social media presence. It's sign of the times. It's not like it was even 10 years ago. And nothing will take us back to that easier era. This is where we're meant to be. This is where we are. But solving the mystery has become convoluted, because what mysteries are you willing to solve? The other problem that we have is in the cryptid world, which I have mentioned before, where groups like the BFRO, which stands for the Bigfoot Research Organization, are having no problems telling you how their statistics break down. But here's the problem. Their statistics are rigged. They're fudging their numbers. Their numbers are not correct. And how do we know this? Because we have had members of the BFRO on this show who have stated that they have had reports that may contain some woo in it, whether it's ghosts, UFOs, the creature just disappearing in front of the person who reports it. And those, since they do not align with the rules and regulations of the BFRO as being a scientific organization, are eliminated from the research. So now we have the BFRO making up rules as we go. Well, we don't believe in that, so therefore we're not going to research it. We're not going to count those reports. The last time I checked, personal belief had nothing to do with science. Nothing. It means nothing. The only thing your personal belief is your personal hypothesis. And if your hypothesis is blown, that means you're lying to your subjects, you're lying to your public, and you're lying to yourself. It doesn't provide a very good image for what you are allegedly trying to accomplish. This leads us back to what we see going on right now in UFOs. Why hasn't the media really jumped on this? Why hasn't the media outside of Fox News and maybe the New York Times taken this story by the horns and ran with it? Explain to me, LA Times, Chicago Times, Toronto Sun, Vancouver Province, you name it. How many stories are your reporters going to write that affect every person in the world? And all it takes is a little journalism to get the story out there. Just a bit. You don't need much, not even a teaspoon of journalism. And boom, you got the main story. But they don't want to. They're lazy. Nobody believes those UFO people. But in the meantime, here's the funny part. Fox is making money hand over fist because they have concentrated on UFOs. They have put journalism into the UFO story. Look, I don't care if you agree with Fox News or not. Personally, like I've said before, Tucker Carlson has one of those faces that just needs a good crack to the jaw. And I don't even consider him a journalist. I consider him a really shady television personality. But he hasn't dropped the UFO story. In fact, they're pushing it even harder. Now they're getting into experiencers. They're getting into mutilations. They're getting into the woo of the subject when nobody else is even talking UFOs. Why? Two reasons. They see a giant spike in their audience every time they do this. And that's all for ratings. And what happens when you have ratings on a certain subject? You make killer money from the advertisement. Make no mistake, Fox News has figured this out. Why the other networks haven't, we don't know. That's their editorial decisions. But I can tell you this, when it all comes down to it, and the mysteries that we are wanting and researching to solve, it all comes down to money. Fox News is making money. There are other people making money off of documentaries. I've never seen a year where we've seen so many UFO documentaries come out at once, whether it's Caroline Corey, whether it's the guys from Third Phase of Moon, whether it's independent films, whether it's James Fox, or whether it is Dave Altman, whether it is anybody. People are on the bandwagon to get these documentaries out and get the stories going. And they are making money off of Netflix, off of Hulu, off of YouTube, off of Apple TV. They are making money. What else makes money? Guess what? UFOs and the technology has the potential to make money. What do we get if we go find Bigfoot? We see companies, tourism, logging companies, mining companies, fishing companies lose money because they will quarantine an area until they figure out what is going on in that area where Sasquatch has been found or Dogman has been found. It's all about money, people. Death is money. There's death taxes. There's funeral costs. I mean, who would have thought a funeral costing $11,000 to $20,000? They are up there. I know what my nephews cost. And we did it the cheapest way possible. Unless you get them cremated. Everything is about money. And that's the unfortunate part. You know, we want to keep it out of there. We want to make it about the creatures. We want to make it about the ghosts. We want to make it about the aliens. But in the end, those who are more in the know it's all about books. It's all about movies, television. It's not about getting the answers done. So do we really want the answers? Because in the end, to me, there is something pure about these mysteries. There's something very fun about going into a haunted building and seeing if you can communicate. There's something enjoyable about heading into the forest on a warm summer night with a flashlight and your good friends trying to communicate with something that shouldn't exist. There's something fun about going out on your patio and staring up at the stars and seeing something that doesn't conform to what your mind already knows about airliners, air flight, and satellites. When the romance is gone, we must divorce. At least we should. And what do you go to next? What's the end result? Where are you wanting this to go? Do you really want the mystery solved? I'm not sure I do, because I have way too much fun hosting a radio show that lets me talk about these subjects as a career. And that is your Dave 101. If you have any comments and you're watching this on our YouTube channel, do us a favor, leave a comment below. Let us know what you think. Do you want the mystery solved? Let us know.